The first thing you need to do is communication and expectations. Clearly and effectively communicate to your brides, especially during the consultation call or the first client meeting. And this is normally what I usually call the vetting process. You're vetting the bride or the couple whether they're a good match for your brand before you book them. This will prevent a lot of weird situations from happening when you engage yourself in super clear and crisp communication, managing expectations. They need to go through your portfolio so that they can understand your style, your process, your editing, and you need to have these discussions with your clients so that you can gauge and see where they stand or how they perceive your work and how you perceive them as a potential couple that you're going to work with. You need to have those conversation upfront before even the wedding has been booked. Once you do that, in your contract, set clear expectations of how you're going to edit those photos, of your turnaround time, of your editing style, of your process, and also have a clause in your wedding contract or any photography contract that clearly speaks about you either delivering or not delivering raw photos. And in a scenario where the client insists on having those raw files, the amount they need to top up so that they can have access, and also have this in writing in a separate contract that clearly outlines the clause, that clearly outlines the conditions and terms of them having access to your raw files. Because you could find in a scenario whereby a client has raw files, they take full ownership of those raw files. They can even use that photo in a commercial or sell it to an agency that deals with commercials. And you would be surprised seeing your own photo in a television advert or even social media adverts. And you wonder, how did your photos get to those people? And you're not consulted, you're not paid for damages or even paid for your work. Because as a photographer, you own the copyrights to the photo. You are the author of those photos. So giving out your raw photos, personally, I don't share out my raw photos, and it is very clear in my own contracts that I'm not going to deliver raw photos. Also in your communication, have a clause that clearly speaks about any additional changes or any rounds of editing that are going to be done, so that you can be compensated for that, or you can have an amicable agreement with your client in regards to that particular clause. By the end of the day, as a wedding and portrait photographer, my main goal is to make my clients happy. I don't think there's any professional photographer who loves what they do would want a similar scenario like this Sepia Bride scandal, where you find your client or even your model in a scenario whereby you're doing those personal projects. You find a model or a client doesn't really like the final product. It's kind of degrading in a way. It's kind of disheartening. You kind of feel like it takes energy from you. Personally, I believe in this particular scandal or in this particular scenario, the photographer had genuine intentions. And you see, even before she was requested to do this particular interview, she had decided to go silent on this matter, because she didn't want to portray a persona whereby she's kind of like taking advantage of the situation to go viral. She tried to go silent about it, but at least it's good she did this particular interview with the Vendor List podcast, so that at least we can also hear her side of the story, compare and analyze, and then come up with an approach that is fair for both parties involved.
Photos, and started asking for the raw photos. Now, did you send raw photos to her so that she could take a look or, use them at her discretion?
Yes, I did. After a little bit of back and forth with her, I came to the place where I just kind of realized we weren't going to reach a mutual place on the editing, specifically just for her makeup and a little bit of her hair, I believe, as well. She asked for the raws. That was something that she brought up first, and I gave it some thought. I definitely didn't want it to be something, again, with ego, which I have heard a lot this past week, where I wouldn't give her just a few photos over needing it to be my finished work. I obviously never expected the raws that I did give her to go where they have gone. So definitely gave those raws with a lot of trust, just wanting to make her happy. So yes, I did give probably about 7 to 10 raws to her.
The next thing you need to consider is flexibility and adaptability. During the wedding day, the shooting scenario could be different from what you're used to shooting. The weather could be super gloomy, it could be stormy, obviously not stormy like literally, but it could be totally different from what you're used to. So have that in mind. The lighting could be not the same as what you normally experience when you do weddings. So have that in mind and adapt based on those scenarios, including the posing and many different factors, including the outfits or even the location. The wedding venue could affect even the way the photos will come out. So have that in mind and adapt accordingly so that you can at least match your style and deliver and take photos that are going to be appreciated by your bride and groom and deliver to their satisfaction. That's the whole point of taking amazing portraits for your bride and groom, to genuinely appreciate what you've done and to love their wedding photos, because it is the only memory they're left with after the wedding has ended. The decor will be dismantled, the garden will be swept clean like nothing ever happened in that venue. The next day when you go there, you will be surprised. You see just green lush garden and you wonder, is this the same venue that yesterday's wedding took place? So everything else will vanish, but the only thing the bride and the groom remains with is those special moments from their wedding day. So you need to adapt and be flexible, especially during that particular day. Another way to show your flexibility is offer the couple to do a pre-wedding photo shoot so that you can gauge their vibe during the pre-wedding photo shoot and also deliver those photos before the wedding day and get feedback from them and understand what exactly they love and dislike, so that during the wedding day, you capture to their satisfaction. And also, when you're doing the final edits, at least you know these type of edits are going to make the couple happy and you're not going to have a back and forth negative scenario like this particular one that happened between Hannah Weiss and her bride, Alexandra. There are many creative ways you can do this. You can include a discounted pre-wedding photoshoot session for your couple so that at least you can have this beforehand, gauge their vibe during the shoot. At least they get used to you so that during the wedding day, there's no that awkward moment you're trying to learn each other. At least they know your vibe. They are comfortable with you. They love your vibe, your energy. When you say something, they laugh or giggle because they understand that's how you take amazing photos. And also when you deliver, at least they have an experience of the type of photos you deliver or how you deliver those photos. They're going to be happy, definitely. Or in most scenarios, because just a side note, I was shocked and really surprised to see some people on social media and also some fellow photographers, they have thumbnail on their YouTube videos when they're addressing this particular viral story. And the viral and those thumbnails were like Bridezilla. Those names made me laugh terribly because I was like, ooh, Bridezilla. Be open to make reasonable edits that meet the client's preferences. This comes a long way in making the client happy. By the end of the day, the client wants to feel taken good care of and they want to feel heard. When I'm about to book any client, my number one priority is making sure they have the best client experience. Because you see, by the end of the day, there are many talented photographers like me. There are some even who are better than me or better than you and I. One of the things that will genuinely make you stand out from the rest is genuinely doing your best to give your couple or your client the best client experience. That one you're going to stand out. I've had terrible experiences, especially when you're dealing with service providers in many other scenarios. Have you ever had an experience with an ex or an ex-partner whom you don't really want to talk to? do you know how you respond to them? You're like, it's like you're asking yourself, why on earth are you calling? So that is the kind of experience I got from this particular service provider. I know I've diverted from the main story, but I'm just giving you a scenario that has happened recently, actually this week when I'm making this video. I wanted to go do retouch and change things a little bit, but the experience was terrible. Client experience for me, and I know that is a similar scenario to most couples or most people who want to book services and who want to enjoy services that are being delivered to them. And you see, we are in a wedding and portrait industry, which is slightly delicate, especially when it comes to photos. So you really, really need to up your game and look for ways, creative ways, how you can improve that client experience, make your brides feel comfortable, your grooms feel confident in you. Because you see, for us men, the biggest turn off when you look at a service provider, if you kind of feel they're not confident in themselves, you just tell your partner, hey, no, my babe, this one, no, he's not confident in what he's doing. And when it comes to the ladies, they want to feel that they have been heard. They want to feel that you're taking good care of them. Feel free to interact so that I can at least understand how you guys also feel about this situation. And if you've ever had a similar experience, let me know in the comment section below and we can continue interacting further, especially in regards to this topic and generally in wedding and portrait photography industry. The next thing you need to consider is client education. Educate your clients on factors like weather, lighting conditions, location. Educate them on how those factors could affect how an image is perceived or even taken, so that at least they can have clear expectations of what they're going to get for their wedding photos or even portrait photos. You could be doing a family photo shoot or even a couple engagement photo shoot or a destination wedding. So have that communication effectively, set expectations, educate your clients, take them through. If in the case of Hannah Weiss, you can clearly hear she sent wedding guides to her client.
Her edit, was it anywhere near your golden style, or was it like true to color? Like, because that's what we've been seeing is like she edited more like a true to color tone.
Right. So the image that she has posted in her TikTok is the image that she sent me. It is the side by side of her standing, and obviously her edit is, I would say, light and airy. Obviously, styles are, to put one word on any specific style isn't really the best, but I would say it was more of a light and airy, true to color, like saturated greens, etc. So definitely very different than my style. So I was pretty shocked.
You obviously have a very distinct style. And when, you were showed those images that, she edited that were, RAWs that she turned into edited JPEGs, obviously not representative anywhere of your style and what you produce. So when they asked for the RAWs and they wanted to receive all the RAWs back and everything like that, did you and you eventually, you said you're going to think about it and you were going to talk about this and think things through and get back to them. And did you reply to them like you would send them the RAWs at any point, like the full gallery of RAWs? And if so, like, were you going to charge them for those RAWs?
So yes, after that phone call, I thought it over and just kind of really took some time to think through the situation and obviously what would make them happy, what would be in line with my contract and the way that I do business. And I decided that I could offer them the RAWs for $3,000, or I could offer them the copyright for $4,000. My contract is clear that no RAWs should be given any time, no exceptions. But obviously, I wanted to go above and beyond for her. I wanted her to be happy, and that was my way of kind of meeting them in the middle. Was to even really put the RAWs on the table. So
in that wedding guide, her style is there. You can see images from her recent weddings. You can see her style there being represented the same way it has been represented on Instagram and on her website. And she sent that to this particular client who, by the way, has gone really, really viral. The videos have millions of views. So the final thing you need to do to avoid a similar situation, document everything. All communications, all engagements, go back and forth just to confirm, make sure the communication is clear, have that in writing, have both parties sign off, especially for the final bunch of photos that has been selected by the couple or you, have the client sign off that they are in agreement of what you have selected or what they have selected as their final bunch of photos, so that when you go ahead to edit them and deliver those photos, there won't be a scenario like this particular scenario where that one moment when it happens, it catches you off guard. You can see now this particular photographer, it caught her off guard. And there's a potential risk of whereby her brand could be ruined. But at least I'm happy that most people in her community and even potential brides are wishing her well. They're giving her positive messages, at least encouraging her. In a similar scenario, it could be so disheartening and discouraging when you find that nobody's on your side. So at least most photographers have come out, even on YouTube. I've seen a couple of videos. They're trying to break down the scenario, and most people are siding with the photographer, including myself, because I can imagine what she was going through even before she came on the Vendor List podcast.